Alhamdulillah, mashallah. So how is your life as a new Muslim? How did you learn? Because I want also to encourage the reverts. Now you are actually, now I am actually, this video is live also in the groups of the reverts that they are watching you right now, watching your story. So many of them, they say see it as it is an overwhelming thing to learn the prayers and learn all the stuff right away. So how did you learn and how did you gradually become to what you are right now? So
it is overwhelming. You
right.
see, just because I accepted Islam on that day and I became a Muslim, it did not stop those disturbing thoughts, right? We spend all our life inviting these disturbing thoughts, right? We don't say Bismillah before we eat. We don't say the dua before we go and use the toilet. All these duas, all these zikrs that the Prophet ﷺ taught us was to work as like a protection against these things. And so we spend our life accumulating. And they don't just go away. This first week or first 2 weeks is actually the most important part of a Muslim's life in his religion, because this is when Shaitan is working the hardest to try to pull him back. I had a Quran, an English translation Quran, that I got from an organization in Chicago called Foundation. And so I became Muslim. I had this Quran for a year already sitting on the shelf. You know, I got the Quran, actually I got that Quran a year before I accepted Islam. I saw an advertisement on TV that Foundation had put on. It said, if you want a free Quran, just call us and leave your address, and we'll mail you one for free, no shipping, nothing. And I said, okay, the price is right. You know, I'll check that Quran out and see what it's talking about. You know, because then that little thought process came on, and that thought process told me this is a terrorist handbook. And I said, you're right, this is a terrorist handbook. I want to know why people become terrorists, because this makes no sense to me. These people say they worship God. They say they're, you know, related to Abraham, right? That they're part of the Abrahamic religion. So why are they becoming terrorists? I don't get it. I'll take that. So I ordered that Quran. And when it arrived, I saw Jesus. And I saw Moses. And I saw all of these prophets that I recognized from the Bible.
Was it like a dream? I'm sorry, was that a dream or were you reading
No, I was reading the Quran.
Okay.
In English.
Okay.
And in the Quran, you will find Jesus.
That's right, yes,
And you will find Moses. And you will find Yunus or Jonah. And you will find Ayub or Job. Right? You will find all of these prophets from the Bible, because these are all prophets of Allah. You will also find their stories in the Quran. Now, some stories are similar to the ones from the Bible, and some are stories that the Bible doesn't even have, so it's new information. But when I read it, I came to the name Jesus, and I thought, oh no, these Muslims are as mixed up as the Christians. And so I put the Quran on the shelf, and that was a year before I accepted Islam. But, you know, Allah being the best of planners, He knew one day I would be ready for it. So He had it sitting on the shelf waiting for me. After I became Muslim, I didn't know how to pray. And I really feel bad for the guys like Ray, you know, my mentee, you know, the guy from Kenya who I'm helping out. The masjids are closed where he's at. He can't go to the masjid. So it's very difficult for these guys accepting Islam right now. I knew that I didn't know how to pray, so I was going to stand behind that imam and let him pray. And I would at least be attached to that prayer, and I would get my prayer credit. And I didn't have to know how to pray right away. Right? When you accept Islam, it's really important that you make all your 5 prayers in the masjid, so that you are getting your prayer credit while you are learning on how to actually perform the prayers for yourself, if at all possible.
Right. So I have at least like probably 5 or 6 mentors that they are watching us right now, and this is going to be on YouTube. I want the mentors to hear this, is because you were you reverted to Islam, and how hard it was for you, like nobody probably taught you, or nobody, I don't know, I mean myself, nobody taught me. It was really hard for me to learn myself. And having a mentor is such a blessing for someone to, basically like you're adopting a baby and you're raising them. You see what I'm saying? So what you're doing is a great thing, and you're getting a great reward. And for my mentors too, may Allah bless them all for all the work that they're doing. So yeah, but there is a question before we go further. I want to go back to that first 2 weeks of your Islam, because I have at least 3 girls that they tell me the same thing, and I actually experienced that when I became Muslim. As you said, I have all these negative ideas, and sometimes like I have nightmares. You know, it's like, what I have done, did I do something wrong? Did I was it like a bad decision? And one time I have this dream of a nightmare. I'm gonna share it with you real quick. That I was standing on a battlefield, and I saw all my family members dead on the ground, and they're all killed, and I have a knife in my hand as I'm the one who killed them. And then when I went to a psychiatric and I told her about what happened, she said, this is an internal image. It's not from God or anything like that. It's actually from you, that you're feeling guilty that you became Muslim and you announced your Islam, and everybody's mad at you, and you don't feel accepted by the society, and probably rejected and shunned. And that's why other people would, that's why it projects on you those negative thoughts and feelings. So what do you think about that? What is your I mean, what you said, that was great, by the way, because it answered a lot of questions, but I wanted to like touch base more on that idea, inshallah.
Well, I mean, like when we have a negative dream like that, especially in a person who's, you know, just became Muslim or about to become Muslim, the shaitans, they can influence our dreams. And they'll whisper while we're sleeping, and that's how they influence our dreams. And they'll give you these negative, scary dreams because, you know, Shaitan is the king of doubt. They want to put doubts in your mind about God, about Allah, and about Islam, and about your choice. Be steadfast. Now, I'll tell you a little bit. My first week, right? I mean, I was going to the masjid every day, but I thought, well, I got this Quran sitting on the shelf. I better read it because I want to know, what does God want to say to us, right? What does God want to say to me? Right? When we want to talk to God,
okay.
pray.
Brother,
we want God to talk to us, we read the Quran.
Right. I want to interrupt you for just 1 second, because I also hear the voice that sometimes it comes and go. You said that you have a microphone. Would you be able to use the microphone, inshallah?
Yeah. Just hang on a second, I'll grab it.
Okay, because the voice keeps going back and forth. Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to use this microphone because I have to use a splitter with it that is also for headphones. And it's the headphones that are turning off my speaker. So I've got to unplug it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. Right. I'm going to have to use an earphone with this microphone to make it work like that.
Oh, okay. So
anyway,
yeah, and now is
let me say something that directly addresses what you're talking about.
Right.
I had this Quran, and I was reading it, and I read like 3 pages, and then I realized I couldn't remember anything at all. It was very weird. So I thought, okay, let's go back and read a paragraph, right? You know, I don't know if that's 3 or 4 verses. Let's read a paragraph. And I read a paragraph, and I got to the end of the paragraph, and then I stopped and I asked myself, okay, what did it say? And I could not remember. And so I tried one ayat, and at the end of the ayat I could not remember, and I said, okay, let's do this one word at a time. And so I read one word, and then I read, and then I looked up, and okay, I could remember it, and I read 2 words, and I looked up and repeated them, and when I got the 5 words, I couldn't remember those 5 words anymore. And at this point, I didn't know what was going on, and I kind of just shined it on for a few days, forgot about it, you know. And then one day, like in the morning, you know, you go into the bathroom and you take the newspaper with you to read in the morning. And I thought, well, you know what? I need to read this book. So I'll take this book with me into the toilet area. And all of a sudden, I could remember I was reading this Quran in the toilet area, and I could remember what I was reading. I got very excited. I ran to my room because I wanted to write down these questions that I had, right? That this had brought up, these questions. And when I got into my bedroom, I couldn't remember anything about what I read.
SubhanAllah.
So I grabbed a pen and a paper, and I went back and, I closed the lid, and I sat on the toilet, and I read for hours. And I wrote all these questions down that I wanted to take to the masjid and ask the people to answer for me.
Now, at that time, you didn't know that it was haram to read it in the.
Nah, yeah, I had no idea,
know.
right? It's like my first week. I don't know.
Because I don't want anyone to suspect. They're like, how could he do that? He did not know. Just to let you know, okay? Yeah.
So, at that point, I realized this is crazy. How can I not remember when I'm in my room and I can remember in the toilet area? That makes zero sense. And the Quran that I had from Furqan Foundation had a phone number in it. And so I called them, and somebody answered. And I said, hey, this is what's going on. And I don't understand. Can you explain to me how come I can remember everything I'm reading in the toilet, but I cannot remember it when I read it in my bedroom? And the guy or the lady, I don't remember, she said, I don't have the expertise to help you. But we got a guy, Sheikh Omar, and here's his phone number. You give him a call, and he'll help you. And so I called Sheikh Omar. It took a few days for us to actually connect, because that weird interference was happening. And Sheikh Omar told me, he said, look, when you spend your life not protecting yourself, not doing the zikrs, not making the du'as, you will have all of these negative things attached to you, all of these jinn, and that's what's affecting you right now. He said, the reason that this is happening is because you're not supposed to read the Quran in the toilet, so they leave you alone in the toilet because you're doing something wrong. But when you try to do something right, then they bother you. And so he said, just go down to the masjid and recite Allah Akbar for 2 hours every day for a week, and these things will leave you alone. I found it impossible to do that. I could not, for whatever reason. I'd go to the masjid for prayer, but I couldn't bring myself to stay and do these zikrs for some reason. So a week later, I called him back and I said, I'm having a really hard time doing this thing, this simple thing. And he said, okay, instead, what I want you to do is go to the masjid and recite La ilaha illallah. And I said, I hear you, but I can't even repeat that because my memory becomes so bad when I try to say that, I can't even say that. And so I wrote it down. I went to the masjid. I would read it and turn it over and try to say it. And if I couldn't say it, I'd flip it over and read it. So I would probably read it like 5 times, turn it over, and then try to say it. Maybe I could say it once or twice and I would forget. And I would flip it over and read it, and then turn it upside down, close my eyes, and try to recite it. And after doing this for, I don't know, a while, I don't know how long, not very long though, when my eyes were closed and I was reciting, I started seeing these things, these like red and blue little colors. And it was like these little things were leaving. And like I counted 62 or 3 of these little colors, little circle kind of colors, when my eyes were closed. And I realized that these things that I were looking at were that these disturbing thoughts, these little jinn that I had accumulated. And after that, then I was able to read the Quran in my room, and things became a lot easier. That doesn't mean shaitan leaves you alone.
That's right.
I still had a hard time learning the Fatiha. And alhamdulillah, there was a brother from UAE, Omar, very good man. He was getting tired of me not learning. Right? I mean, he was actually kind of angry with me, And that's fine because that's what I needed. And he grabbed me and he sat me down one day and he said, you and I are going to learn the Fatiha right now. And it probably took 3-4 hours working it one line at a time. But by the time I left the masjid that day, I had memorized the Fatiha.
Alhamdulillah.
And so this is a problem. If you don't have that guy like Omar who can grab you and sit you down and force you to do it, Shaitan's going to keep working on you and make it harder and harder for you.
Right.
And I mean, they do affect your desires, right? It makes your desire to want to do it very minimal, and your desire to want to do anything else very strong. And we have to find a way to overcome that. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
what I recommend to a lot of people is listen to the Quran. I understand you can't recite it, just listen to it. Listen to Fatiha, listen to Ikhlas, Falak, and Nas, listen to all of Baqarah, right? And sit there and just really absorb it deep, and that will help control these impulses to not do what you know you should be doing.